Hello and welcome back to the OPL Week 9, day number 1. Bryce is just trying to figure out how to sit in on the storm. It's been a while since we've done it. We stand while we shoutcast.
You know, I was caught on my cord. You know what's going over my shoulder? It was caught on the floor. Oh well, we've sorted it now. That's good.
That's good, mate.
Oh, yeah.
58-minute victory for the Direwolves. However,
yeah,
I was reading a lot of praise for Charlie Red's draft. I think that was a curveball that needed to be thrown, and he threw it well. And unfortunately, his pitcher didn't catch it, if you will.
Nice. That wasn't like an AFL like
thing? That was like a baseball reference.
Yeah, okay, I like it. But I feel like what I said on the outro of that game is kind of where I stand. Like, what else do AV have? Because I feel like that is a big baseball to throw.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's going to be rough going into game 2, of course. Now on blue side, might switch things up. Means priorities are slightly different for the two teams.
Maybe you can get rid of something like a Gangplank, because you probably don't want to play against that again.
Because, like, the Swain did okay, despite going down.
Yep.
Like, mid-game and before, like, GP got to, like, Mega 6 items, was completely fine in the matchup. I feel like Parbu almost solo killed him 1v1 multiple times, had the rest of the team to clean up once, but Swain looked okay as an answer to GP. Maybe we see him in a different game where he doesn't get that much attention from the jungle, and maybe it emerges as like a significant, actual good pick into GP. So we might see that one again, maybe not, but it'll be interesting to see what these two teams think.
Maybe want the Galio here, or potentially the Rise. Both of them get kind of countered by Cassiopeia, so I wouldn't be surprised if one of them went through right now. However, I like the Scion from Frey. I thought with a little bit more decisive team fight shot calling, that pick could have been the pick that sealed the deal, to be honest.
That feels like it was potentially the difference between these two teams. AV kind of happy feeding between the Elder, between the Baron, things like that, not quite pulling the trigger early enough on a team fight here and there. Whereas Direwolves, they decide what they want to do and they just do it immediately. Schoenfire's like, look, this is a 50-50, but I'm going to take it. And then he does, and nets them a victory there.
Well, if you get it every time, is it really a 50-50? And I feel like Shern does it more often than not.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like in big moments within the OPL, Shern actually rises to the occasion. I feel like when it's early game and he shouldn't be doing stupid stuff, he gets caught out a lot. But when he's actually honed in and focused about the game, which you would hope is all the time, but seems to be late
After 58 minutes, I feel like you're pretty invested.
You're as homed as you can be. He comes up with the goods.
Yeah, he does. Talked about the Rise that is going to be picked up by the Direwolves, but the Scion is taken away by Avant again. So, potential for the flex there. We might see it top. We might see it in the mid lane with Frey once again. Direwolves throw the gauntlet with the Zyra and Rakan. They get Rise, and honestly, probably they do get the Zyra Rakan. I don't feel like AV is a team that's going to be willing to pick away the Rakan.
And you just play Kate Morg into it again.
Yep.
And Kate Morg does fine into Zyra Rakan. Morg just sits back, lobs binds at people, and if you ever go in, she just chucks a Dark Shield on the Caitlyn and walk away.
And I mean, if you think back 58 minutes ago to the start of that game, because it's very hard to like to think about like the tracking of that game, but AV's bottom lane, they would do a kill at like level 2.
Yep.
Straight up, they were just killing the bot lane of the Direwolves, which is something you just do not see happen at all, / very often. So maybe they have the answer. Maybe it is Kate Morg, but they don't seem to want to prioritize it here, so they don't really care. They know the Zyra Rakan's going to come through, but they'd much rather take the Azir.
Or do they think that now you have to take a Camille or something along those lines into the top lane, otherwise we're going to start banning out carries and put Chippies in a little bit of a sticky situation. However, it is a Rakan picked up. So now I feel like Avant start lobbing. Actually, no, they can go towards jungle as well and do a similar thing, because I feel like, Gangplank, Camille, Cho'Gath, Poppy, all up and available. So maybe you attack Shern's pool.
Potentially there. Of course, they have locked in the Azir, so it means we only get one game of Scion mid from AV. Actually, no, we don't.
Why?
Because there could be a game 3. Maybe they win up this game. Maybe they pull it out again.
Positive Paul has re-emerged to save all of Oceanic spectators.
Potentially we might. There's always the potential, mate.
I think so as well. I think that after a showing of 58 minutes, in which you had probably the last 20 minutes in your control, that if you don't say there's at least a chance to go to game 3, you're pretty much lying to the audience, as it's going to be Varus taken away.
Of course, League of Legends is one of those games where it doesn't matter if you win 57 of them. If you don't win on the 58th minute, then unfortunately your Nexus explodes. So,
and Positive Paul once again is dead and being killed by DJ Paulie B, who is once again back at the casting desk.
Direwolves banning away the AD carries. They don't want any of that Caitlyn. They don't want to face that one again. round number 2, and they ban away the Varus as well.
Yeah, and I feel like Camille is actually just one of the good answers to Sion right now,
Yep.
unless you play Cho'Gath, and I haven't seen Chippies really play all that much Cho'Gath lately. He can still just take a farm lane in the GP up top and see if he can survive.
It's interesting that they did leave that one available once again.
They obviously just feel it's not that good. I disagree with them, but who am I to disagree? I'm but a humble shoutcaster.
Jarvan will be the lock-in. So we haven't seen him for a few weeks. After his nerf, Sejuani got the Q nerf and Jarvan got the armor nerf. And it was like, okay, Sejuani's still good. Jarvan, he's toppled down the tier list now. But with Zac gone, Camille jungle gone, things like that, Sejuani picked away.
Ooh, and this is another champion that's been nerfed, however, is one of Blinky's specialties. And I feel if anyone's going to play it in the OPL, it would be Blinky. Ezreal Braum right now is the safe answer. Damn it. And I was going to say, but
they can pick the cool one. Come on, guys.
And Blinky knows he's better. I mean, he's grinning at himself. He's like, yeah, Spore's talking about my Kalista.
He knows it. 15, 14, 13 seconds for Jake to pick a support. We might actually get the Thresh here. We saw his Bard last week, and that was pretty good.
Yeah,
that was pretty good, honestly. So Thresh is kind of the volatile answer into Rakan. So, okay, they're throwing the gauntlet. This is a matchup where if you fall behind on the Thresh, you are very easy to kill. Because he's one of the squishiest tank supports. So you ever don't have flash, you have no mobility, Rakan engages onto you, you are dead.
In saying that, if you're a Sejuani and you just hover around this lane, you can nearly guarantee that Cupcake and King will go in at some point. And then you just take a nice journey into them, and you're able to counter gang very easily, and it's going to be a GP one more time.
Yes, it will. So we're going to see this again.
Undefeated on it. Tally, undefeated on it. I just don't know why you give them game plan.
Can he keep up the streak? I have a little bit of knowledge for you, Jake. I know why AV Jake is locked in the Thresh.
Why?
Because you know when I was talking about if they pick Ashe, then I pick something that can build Crucible.
Yeah.
And then when if Swipe is playing solo queue and I queue into him and he picks Sion, then I'm picking the Trundle so I can deny his ulti. Jake looked across at Churn and was like, hey Jarvan, how you going, mate? I've got a flay for you. He wants to deny as many of the EQs as possible. That's it. You just pick the fun stuff.
But you don't have to do that anymore. People just figured out that you EQ as soon as you're in range, you just mash the R button.
Yeah.
And you fly on his head and he dies.
Way to ruin my day, Jake. How about that?
It was just like, it was back in the day when people thought you had to continue every ability before you used another ability. It was a good answer.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's not.
Unfortunately for Thresh players all over the world. But I still miss it.
He's much squishier than he used to be.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen a lot of coin Thresh popping up nowadays with the Relic Shield nerfs and things like that, especially in a lane like the Zyra Rakan. Potentially with an Ezreal, you might not be able to match early. You don't really need the extra HP, and now that HP is less, kind of incentivizes you to go towards the sit back, just farm your coins, things like that.
Absolutely. You do lose out on the push a little bit there. The one thing that separates good Thresh players from bad Thresh players, in my opinion, is the ability to level 2 all in.
Yep.
So, give
Flash
it to
play
me.
Ignite.
How does Ezreal Thresh stack up against Zyra Rakan? Can they get that level 2 all in?
I mean, with the Exhaust, I think no. I think you need the Ignite to be able to kill that one, and we did just hop onto Summoner's Rift for Game 2, and we see Jake. He's gone for Aftershock, so he's gone the aggressive Mastery, but with the Exhaust, I feel like there's really not an avenue to be able to kill the Zyra Rakan early. That level 2, level 1 even is almost unmatched down in the bottom lane. So it'll be interesting to see how that one fares so far. But, of course, Game 2, Direwolves currently have the advantage to hear how AV are going to claw it back. We do have AV's coach, Charlie, standing beside Laura.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm standing here with Charlie. Now, that first game was so close and so back and forth. What did you say to the team during the break about it?
I told them that we had a really good early game. We had really good plays around our bottom side, and we predicted their cross maps a lot of the time, and it was really easy to play. When you get into those 55-minute scenarios, like, the decision-making is so in the moment, it's very difficult to train. So I was very happy with how decisive we were. We made a few slip-ups here and there positionally, but I was confident.
Well, it was a very exciting game to watch, but you made a tweet recently saying it's the last time you're going to come 5th in the OPL. I mean, how determined are you and the team to succeed, not in only this series, but also the Gauntlet?
I'm not placing 5th again.
Fair enough.
That's it.
All right. Good luck with this game, and thanks for talking to us.
Thanks.
Well, I hate to break it to you. If you don't win the next 2 games,
yeah, you might be placing 5th.
And Direwolves this time around, I think, have a much nicer comp than what they did game number 1 against what AV is throwing at them. They're going to be running into an Azir, of course, however, with Jarvan as well as the Rakan. That is a very easy composition to execute on the blow-up. However, Frey is doing a fantastic job right now of poking Triple out of this lane.
He is. We see Cupcake was actually the one in the bottom lane to take the coin. Play comes out, so a nice jump.
Damage. Blinky cancelled an auto.
So that's the hit and the miss for Cupcake for the Xayah Rakan. The W does not land onto Blinky, so of course, without the ability to dash back to his AD carry, the Xayah just does get punished. Going to have to burn a pot to heal that one back up.
There's actually good damage coming out of Pabu
Does
here.
he get the barrel?
He's going to get barreled in the head. He just doesn't care. He just continues to walk at him, yells at him, and slows him down.
Oh, he does get that one, though. That means Chippy going to struggle to farm this one under his turret right now. 3rd time's a charm. Unfortunately, Pabu misses that one, and a nice trade out of Chippy's. He does have Only in his back pocket. Up here, farming up the top side of Schönfire's jungle.
That's why Pabu was trying to shove it in as quickly as possible. However, I do not know whether they can do it now. See, they've used all the cooldowns of Pabu, and only
can't even get it
goes towards the Krug camp.
That's the thing, it just took way too long there, unfortunately, for AV. But it will be the Infernal Drake actually spawning first one. So,
yeah, so a little bit spicier. Maybe this game will be a bit quicker.
Yeah, potentially. This is the kind of game where you have a absolute 1 hour slugfest game 1. Game 2 is just an absolute shellacking one way or another.
Yep. How I know those games all too well at the moment, Bryce. As we actually see level 3 achieved for Blinky as well as a duo lane. Right now, Triple takes a very nice trade onto Frey. However, will take some damage back now.
Both of them falling very low.
One is much healthier in terms of mana. However, Triple probably just wants a recall. Probably has a tier at this stage. However, Blinky now gets bound up. Cupcake takes a turret shot for his trouble.
That's a weird trade. Not often do you see the level 3 Xayah have the ability to root up the enemy AD carry without having to burn the W from Rakan first. He's kind of backwards than what we think for the most part. But they do get a nice little trade down onto Blinky in the bottom lane. Does have the shield, so we'll heal that back up, whereas King opted in for the Blade, going for the more aggressive, of course. The Xayah Rakan, they've opted in for Ignite. They want to be able to pressure this lane phase. And they've kind of lucked out in the fact that they should have butt priority, and the Infernal Drake, as we mentioned, was the first one to spawn.
Pabu also just missing out on so much creeps in the top lane. None of it's really been out of his grasp. I've just been watching him walk up and just miss the last hits, which sucks if you're the Scion, because you get more health for every minion that you kill.
We do see the Glacial Scion coming back. Of course, mid lane last game, Frey went for the Aftershock, so in his late game team fights, kind of added to the fact why he was so incredibly tanky. On this patch, the cooldown for that one went from 20 to 35, I believe, so almost doubled. But in those late game, like, single instance team fights, it's only going to proc once anyway, so it just means when he goes in hard, and he's just so incredibly hard to kill. Of course, Pabu opting in for the extra CC, the extra slows.
The damage early game is actually quite surprising, to be honest.
Out of Aftershock.
Yeah. As we see Triple actually face check, will get stunned up now. However, Frey is and only needs to get out of there. So much damage coming out of both Shern and Triple.
Both bot lanes are walking over, though. AV.
They go
kind of had the track up the river, but Schönfire, do they actually catch on to JP?
Okay, going to face check. That's just going to be a sight ward. However, over the wall they fly, and he
the big
away
flash
from the roof.
He gets
take it back and use both summoner spells. However, over the wall goes King, and that is going to be first blood. In the end, well played by the Direwolves, but a fumble from Avant.
Yeah, very well played by multiple members. A lot of summoners were burnt. We had Schönfire, Triple, and King all commit their flashes to that play. They get both out of Blinky, but that is first blood. And the advantage going over very early into the game for the Direwolves.
Yeah, absolutely. It's already an 1,100 gold lead. You can see right now in the top lane, it's going to be a 13 CS advantage. They went away from their pocket pick. It seems to be hurting them. Mid lane looks absolutely fine, to be honest. However, being in that encounter really did not help out the Avant Gaming lineup.
Azir was not going to do a whole lot there. Of course, does have the Comet and the Cleanse, so won't be able to get a free cheeky recall like the Rise did earlier to pick up his tier. But for the most part, Chippy's level 6 already, you mentioned. Probably missing CS and has been denied a little bit of creep XP here because he is behind. Down in CS pretty significantly. He'll be hitting level 6 fairly soon, probably on this wave, but already struggling.
Frey needs to get this one into turret. If he sticks around much longer, he is just in genuine dive territory from Shern. Shern will be level 6 after this red buff, so Frey really has the next, like, 20 seconds to make this hit turret. Otherwise, he's just in big trouble. You can see already Cupcake tracking towards that mid lane from base. So he will look to get it forward and goes for... He's just going to be interrupted, isn't he? Nah, he walks back to his turret.
Walks
does
all
the
the way.
discipline thing.
Both junglers doing the red buff right now, but because of that earlier play in the bot side jungle of AV, Direwolves know exactly where the Sejuani is right now, only walking over 2 wards. One of them's timed out, but the other one will see Jake as well as he leaves the base.
Only 2 levels lower than Shern. Will just ding to the level 6, level 5 then. Shern's already level 6.
Shern's very low doing those golems. He's on like 2 HP, 2 mana. Barely able to take those ones down.
Never a contest.
Yeah. He knows his limits.
'Tis merely a flesh wound.
As he's just going to kill those ones out. Of course, has himself about a 2 camp lead over Only right now, but has to go for that recall. Level 6 has been hit by the top laners, of course, so Chippies has access to the global.
I was hoping that with all the nerfs that had come through, this was finally going to be the triumphant return of Warrior Jarvan. Give me a Duskblade shirt.
Yep.
Not going to be the case, Bryce.
They need a frontline. They've got a Rakan in the bot lane and a GP top side.
They won the last split without playing frontline at all.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Frontlining sucks. I hate frontlining.
We're now in 2018. Unfortunately, with Sion mid, Galio mid, I feel like frontline might be a little bit important.
Thing, yeah. You're right.
Yeah, split push getting harder and harder as time goes on. Blue buffs have spawned. AV going to hand theirs over to Frey in quite a slow early game for the most part. That gold lead still about 1,000 in the camp of Direwolves.
This should be a good tempo play for Direwolves. Actually, top lane, Chippies gets a flash by himself, goes forward, gets another Q for himself, picks himself up 1 more mana potion. And single-handedly, he is destroying Pabu. And off the back end of this, I thought they were actually going to be able to go towards Infernal Drake. However, they don't. Shern goes for some Raptors. Will be able to win out on that, taking majority for himself. Is still a level up.
Of course, Chippies had to burn the ulti to get that trade, but holds on to his teleport. Pabu has to TP back to base, and we were questioning whether they do ban away the Gangplank. Of course, early game wasn't too good for Chippies last game, but kind of just chilled for the most part, for the majority of the game. And then late game, once he got to 6 items, was an absolute monster.
And Chippies burns his teleport to get back top lane. He feels like there's enough priority mid, enough priority bot, that he's going to use that TP to maintain his advantage. They're going to get themselves an Infernal Drake at 9 minutes in, which will be very relevant in this composition. Gangplank likes AD, as does Xayah, and my god, will Triple just absolutely eat up any additional AP you can give him.
I'm curious to see what the second dragon spawn was. Because if we have anything like a double Infernal, we have the Mountain. This becomes so influential. Of course, that you mentioned, 9-minute Infernal going to be so successful for the Direwolves as they track further on. Chippies might have found himself in a spot of bother, but ultimately just going to walk away.
And this is the thing about tank versus carry matchups, is you give the carry so much notice of how much damage you're going to do to them. Because Sion has like 3 abilities and they all do this amount of damage. And Chippies can actually just sit there and say, okay, I'm going to be able to use oranges at this stage and walk out of it. Whereas when you're playing Gangplank, because it's such a skill thing, Pabu's never thinking, I'm going to get hit by... Oh, actually, nice trade coming in for Frey there. Chippies, triple trades back well. He's never thinking, I'm going to get hit by a barrel, and therefore then Gangplank can chase you down. It's another Infernal Drake, Bryce. You'll be happy to know.
The double. AV looking to match bot side with the... Rift Herald up top, but no, they do get spotted out. The flag comes over the wall from Shernfire, so
Shern was just
wasted tempo. He was. He walked over to the golems. He was like, they have priority top. Chippies is getting pushed in. Triple needed time to push in the mid wave, so he was giving it, but AV do respect the play. They do back away.
And you have to applaud them for respecting the play, but at a certain point, if you don't take risks against a team that is slightly better than you, then it's not going to work out in your favor. You saw that every single time. Oh, actually, very nicely done from Chippies there. Every single time Direwolves went for a play, they were able to make it stick just a little bit better than what Avant was able to do in game number 1. And that's not to take anything away from Avant. They played well in game 1. But this is why the Direwolves are undefeated. And why sometimes risky plays against undefeated teams pay off.
Yeah. We saw Fortnite do it a couple of years ago. Can AV do it here? This turret is getting incredibly low. I was going to mention the Direwolves kind of haven't made a play on the bot side, which is not what you see with a Zyra Khan lane with this much priority. They've been constantly pushing in, but instead of bringing Fire, instead of bringing Triple down to the bottom lane, they're just slowly flinging stuff under the turret, taking that one down.
But look at all the vision they have. Like, they know as Zyra Khan that no one is in that bottom side jungle. At the same time, AV have no bloody idea where anyone is.
Oh, he tanks it.
Yeah, he tanks it in the head, and he's too scared to auto-attack it. And potentially, this is going to take a little bit longer than it necessarily should have. We'll get an empowered recall, however. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Frey burns a cleanse too early. Ultimate already used and will fall down. Triple absolutely soloing out the mid laner. Bottom lane turret falls, and this is a massacre so far.
It is. Almost every lane winning top lane. Overall is pretty even, but of course the Gangplank once again just getting through the lane phase completely unscathed. They take down first Briggs.
He's got a 12-minute Trinity Force. He didn't get through unscathed. He's accelerated.
He's popping. He's popping.
Got
The solo
three biscuits.
kill.
Chalky Vicky.
Yeah.
For him. He's had so many mana potions so far. It means he's just always topped up in lane. And they're already going for that hard swap. Shern's 2 left. This is when Shern's at his best. He's actually not even interacting with the game, really. If someone calls him, he says, yep, I can come. Otherwise, he's like, I'm just farming.
Blinky. We'll spot him out. He's actually going to run into Only up here, but you have to think.
Should be stunned up here, so will there be any follow-up damage? Blinky is here.
Has to blow
not able to chain the CC. Shern probably should have fallen down there.
Yeah. Right, he's actually looking to go into Only
re-engage.
right
You can see Ryze has inside track. However, on this side, uses the ulti.
Honestly, very nice play out of Shern. He burns the ulti early because he didn't want to let Only flash away from the Jarvan, but also flash out of the pit at the same time. So if his Q was down, potentially could have fallen there, but of course the cooldown is just short enough. It means Only will get out scot-free, but he does blow the Rift Herald bot side.
Yeah,
3 members of AV.
The tempo play, and now they're looking to potentially use the Scion ulti as well if Chippies comes back towards this turret. Goes for the barrel, nails Blinky. I would like to say that's a bait, but Blinky's just been hit by so many of them today. Pabu will be able to get the slowdown here. Knockup will register. However, no one else really there. Does get the flash. 1 turret for 1 turret so far in this trade. However, mid lane now under fire as well. And Direwolves every single time just get that little bit more.
And that's the thing. The entire time this is going on, you saw Only had committed to the bot side. He was pressuring, trying to pressure Chippies off the turret with the members down there. But Shernfire's just doing wolves. He's straight up just doing camps. The Rift Herald did crash into the inner on the other side of the map right now. They are looking for a dive.
Once again, Chippies is very low. However, will be able to navigate his way away from this one as well. Burns the ultimate this time. However, Shelly is doing a very good job at taking down this turret. But at minimum, this will be a 2-for-2 trade. And mid lane turret has taken so much more damage. Not to mention the fact that during this time, Shern has just taken all of the jungle camps. And Frey gets chunked out. Will not be able to defend this mid lane.
Oh, he's actually looking for the solo kill. Potentially. Doesn't actually take it.
Just grants vision as well.
Baits him out there. 4 members of Direwolves are topside around this mid lane turret. It is incredibly low, and with the bird having to base, you have to think they should be able to pick this one up. Hook barely misses Triple there.
Yeah, actually Frey didn't go back. In goes Cupcake. They go for the play. Looks for it. Good exhaust on the back end from Jake, however, takes some damage in response, and mid lane turret is literally a sneeze. And it goes down.
The minion sneezed. Looking.
Only tries to force. Triple good. Sidestep. Didn't have summoner spells available. That should have once again potentially been a kill. But AV are forcing and it isn't working.
4 turrets to 2 right now. The game was fairly stagnant after that 1 kill for the most part. But as soon as that trade comes through, 2 for 2 across the board. But Direwolves have the mid lane as well. So that's going to be 4 picked up. It was the double Infernal we mentioned.
Yep.
Going to be up in about 6 seconds here. King tracking over to that one, and Pabu actually has to recall on the mid lane right here.
And right now you can see that is
Does
going to be up and available. Does get the cancel. No, he doesn't.
Just too late. Of course, as that
However, they now know that the top laner has gone back. There is 1 ward deep that they can potentially look to teleport to. Shern will be hooked up.
He can cancel the EQ?
Oh, no, does not go for the EQ, doesn't get flayed back. Aftershock burnt, and now Shern just going to look for the second Infernal Drake. And if I'm Avant, there is no way you can fight this. You actually need to give it up if they can commit.
And I feel like Direwolves, they don't need to commit multiple members to it. Their lanes will just naturally win. They will be able to get the push. Rise into Scion topside. GP will be able to hold bot side as well. So with the dual lane mid as well, they can just slowly push in the lanes and they can keep doing what they've been doing. They haven't made a big play this game other than that kill in the jungle.
And this is the thing about the Direwolves. They hit you with a 7 out of 10 game. And maybe you play an 8 and you beat them. But next game, they come back with a 7 or an 8. And you maybe go to a 6 or a 5. So they beat you. Then they come out the next game and they hit you with a 7 or an 8. They just are so damn consistent, like infuriatingly consistent. They're not playing any better than what they were playing last game. It's just that AV aren't able to go with it. They dropped slightly, and now Direwolves are making this look easy.
And suddenly a very slow, very methodical game has a 4,000 gold lead and a double Infernal Drake in their back pocket for a comp with triple threat as well.
And if this goes to a game 3, you know what Direwolves are going to do? They're going to come out and they're just going to play the consistent League of Legends game. Because this is what we saw when we played against the Chiefs. Fanatics flashing forward, big plays. Direwolves were like, oh, well, bummer, we lost the game. Let's get them next time.
Yep.
When they played against Order twice, Order come out. They perfect game them game 1. Maybe play a 10 and Direwolves can't go with it. But next game they come out and Order can't go with the consistency of Direwolves. It's honestly what makes the team terrifying within Oceania.
Not to mention, it's kind of roster after roster.
Yeah.
They've had 40% of their roster changed. Of course, there's only 5 members, so 40% is 2. So it's like 40% sounds more significant than the 2. But they've done it with the changes year after year. They're still able to play that consistently.
I mean, they lost their MVP and one of the most vocal members of the OPL in Fanatics and Destiny.
Ooh. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying the MVP and most vocal in Fanatics.
Like
and I'm like, is
different
Fanatics
people.
one of the most vocal?
Two different people.
Okay.
And they still are able to play a similar style of League of Legends.
Yep.
I think that speaks volumes to the infrastructure behind, Guinevere Capital and Sharp and what Nathan Mott and Rippy is doing behind the scenes with this team.
So we take a look at the game once again. We get back into it. Chippies working on his second item. Of course, that Trinity Force came in about, what, 12 minutes?
Yeah.
So he's very far accelerated right now. You have to think AV have to start pulling the trigger on some plays. Dire was more than happy to make this one a late game once again. We saw 58 minutes game 1. They have the GP, the Ryze, the Xayah Rakan. They can go late and be fine. AV, they can match somewhat. They have an Azir. Their late game's nothing to scoff at, but...
Yeah, Azrael's actually a very good late game on the current patch. They're not going to necessarily be running forward into King either, which means that Xayah, who will be very potent in the late game, will lose some of that effectiveness of the feathers.
Jake is looking for the Rakan, but does dash away to the safety of his 80 carry there. 18.5 minutes right now. Baron spawning in just over a minute. But a lot of pings going into the topside river. They're looking for something. Triple.
Yeah, actually
the
pulling the trigger. That is Triple by himself. Do they blow him up? No. In goes Cupcake. Battle down ground. Entrance is there. Gets hooked up, but dashes back away. Sure, now on the back end of it should fall down. And they're able to get King. That is a Feather Storm, but he's on top of the tank and will get blown up. Now Cupcake has to dash away. Chippies is there. Gets a big barrel on the back end of it, but chasing into an Azir is just so tough. And somehow a 2-for-1 trade for Avant.
Yeah, the 2-for-1. Pabu might have just walked into his death here. He did. Walked 1v3 and just dies to the gangplank. Got to give himself over to that one. But what was a 1-for-2 is now a 2-for-2.
Exactly right. So
but they turned around the play.
They hit him with it and they're able to keep them at bay. You can see Pabu desperate, wanted to force there, but no one was healthy enough to go with him. And Direwolves still picking out on this blue buff.
As we see it again. And it's interesting because chokes are so effective for both of the teams. Cupcake gets a single-man knock-up, but he's charming multiple members. But Frey is really the hero on the back end of this play. He's just sitting there auto-attacking. Blinky falls very low to GP ulti, but Yazir is just completely untouched. They have the tank line. They have the Sejuani. They have the Sion to just walk up and frontline for their carries. And we're going to see Pabu. Honestly, last game, I was like, man, I know what he was trying to do, but unfortunately, Pabu, I just don't see the play.
Yeah, no, I don't see it either. The other funny thing about that play is I reckon Gangplank did the most damage of it.
Yeah.
Just he wasn't there the whole time. The ulti was hitting 4 members at one point of that play. As the ranks come in, because that's level rank 2, as you know, Death's Daughter, Raise Morale, as well as the Continuate. I can't remember the other one.
I don't know the name, no.
Yeah. The one that makes it fire really rapidly, plus level 16 come in. If that happens again, it will be doing even more damage.
It's the rapid fire cannon.
Rapid fire cannon.
Yep. And King's got his own. Sitting on 2 items right now.
Yeah, sitting pretty at the moment, actually, King. At the same time, Blinky is no slouch. However, Frey gets blown up. That honestly looked like old Ryze there. Only now will get... Oh! Yeah, has to burn the Summoner spell. I think the respect is justified after seeing how much damage just came out of Triple.
And is that enough to force a play onto the Baron or anything like that? The mid laner had cleanse, had flash, but still does go down. Pings are going onto the Baron. I mean, they have complete control.
That is just absolutely devastating. At 21 minutes in, they're going to go towards Baron. Sure, you have Sejuani ultimate, you have Sion ultimate, but they're just doing it so damn quickly, and you cannot get in range. And the Direwolves are just in control of this game. 7,000 gold, 2 Infernal Drakes, and they're saying, Chiefs, if you want the top spot, you better damn well 2-0 order tomorrow, because otherwise it is ours.
Yeah, looking rough. What was a 4,000 gold lead explodes to 7 right now. Get a few picks, just enough to get themselves the Baron. Of course, there's a fair amount of turrets already taken away, but with this Baron, we'll be able to take more. AV kind of setting up around the bot side. They have a few pinks around the Dragon area, but just aren't going to be able to contest that one.
Are they still the scariest OPL team? Even if Chiefs finish 2-0 order, are Direwolves still the team you do not want to play?
Scariest is the wrong word.
Okay.
Because I think Chiefs are the scariest. Because if you give them a lead, like, they will dumpster you. You know what I mean? Like, you give them a small advantage, they'll turn 500 gold into like 5k in 2 minutes, and you just lost the game, and they'll just dive your Nexus at 25 minutes.
Yep.
But Direwolves potentially, I don't know the word actually, Frey.
Frey going to be able to nail Chippy's into a wall. However, Flash is still there. Hits the blast plant. Very nicely done. Chippy's trying to turn this one around. Nearly does, to be honest. Frey, get out of the cannon barrage. Otherwise, you're dead. 1-for-1 trade for Chippies.
He had the flash. He could have burnt that one to get over the wall. It would have sucked, but he does trade the 1-for-1. Chippies once again.
Casual swig of the water.
Yeah, finds himself the recipient of what was a pretty free kill, to be honest.
So you don't find that terrifying? The fact that you can just throw 2 solo laners and they go in, pull the trigger. Jake, unfortunately, has not played League of Legends all that much this game. Cupcake picks up another kill. Triple is winning bottom lane. Mid lane will fall down. And it just looks like there is absolutely nothing Avant can do.
AV look all out of sorts. Going in 1 by 1, pulling triggers on plays across map as well. They commit topside and then still get caught in the mid lane trying to defend that turret. It just seems like Direwolves have everything they need right now. Gold lead up to about 9,000. And I feel Direwolves are the best currently, but like scary. I'm kind of nitpicking because I just think scariest is the wrong word, because Direwolves don't just demolish you. They will like clinically.
Yeah, but I feel like that's scarier. Like if you're in a fight versus someone and they're just huge, right?
Yeah.
You're like, all right, well,
one
this
punch
is over.
and I'm gone.
But if you fight like that small guy that's done martial arts for 26 years and literally can just hit you 15 times before you blink, I feel like he's more terrifying.
Yeah, maybe.
And I feel like...
Are you that guy? Are you the small guy that's done Taekwondo for a number of years?
I've done it for a long time, but I am now the fat, retired OPL shoutcaster.
Am I the big guy? We should fight.
We should
let's have a bit.
Fish used to say this all the time, by the way. He used to be
lose.
like, let's go to boxing together, because he did martial arts as well.
Okay.
Did you do martial arts?
No, absolutely
Why
not.
not?
I played cricket, mate.
Martial arts is very important.
Okay.
Discipline is something that is underrated in life, each.
Okay. That was a lot of damage coming out of triple.
Yeah, he's
1.1k. He's pretty big
boy.
right now.
How much AP has he got? 752.
Yeah,
24 minutes into the game.
That's huge. It's double Infernal,
If
Death
this
Cap.
was a best of 5, AV would be talking about what they're doing next game. However, unfortunately for AV, this is a best of 3, and if they don't win this one, they're not going to take it any further. So they need to hope for the Hail Mary.
Only being chased out of his own jungle bot side by the bottom lane of King and Cupcake.
Blinky's actually pretty okay. Azir?
He's just about
Very
the only
far
one.
behind.
Yep, Azir a full item down. Jake doesn't even have a completed one. Top side of the map, of course. Pabu is behind, and his items are cheaper as well, so GP steaming ahead in that regard.
Oh, they actually pull the trigger onto Triple. Triple turns around, does a little bit of damage, and you can see that they are so scared to chase into Fog of War right now that the ultimate does not work.
And the cooldown is fairly short on that one, but...
Triple's just like, come back here. I want to grab you.
Wow. He's just taken a turret.
Yep.
Unmatched in the bottom lane. Bottom lane of Direwolves do float down as well, but Chippy's going to pick himself that one. Only potentially looking for something mid, but it is
Turn has
flashed
to burn
away.
the flash, yep. I
Gets
like it. He
himself out of
actually
that one.
respects the CC, gets away.
He's done that twice this game. Sorry, twice today.
Yep.
Once last game. Actually, no, twice this game. He's flashed the Sedge ulti, one around the Dragon. I feel like playing very respectfully here. Doesn't want to give AV an opening back into the game because Direwolves still 11,000 gold ahead. Firmly in control. Eliminating mistakes is probably the best way for Direwolves to win this one.
Absolutely, and they got everything you want off that Baron. They were able to get all the outer turrets. They even got a base turret. Right now, they're sitting on so many items, you know, additional Zeal picked up. You got yourself the makings of a Void Staff. If you want a Zeal, well, Chippy's got one of those for you as well. And really, when you compare, when you look at the comp and you say, oh yeah, if this was an equal game, all things equal, AV would be in with a fighting chance. However,
It's
all
very
things are
far
not
from
equal.
equal. Double Infernal, 11,000 gold. You talk about team fights that are like just gold lead team fights.
Yeah.
Direwolves don't even need to play a team fight well to win at this stage. They just do so much damage.
Triple would 1v3.
Yep. Absolutely. As long as he's not CC'd.
Yeah, he's got claims.
Yeah. Even if he is CC'd, he's got to do it anyway.
Levels. Like, let's just talk about the gold relevancy of 3 levels for a second.
That's
Let
big.
alone the fact that he's probably like 3,000 gold up.
He's almost going to Flame Horizon.
Yeah, 100%.
The game might not last long enough for him to do it.
He's like,
but if
guys,
it does, he
pump
will.
the gas. Pump the gas.
Yep.
I feel like this is Hail Mary territory. I feel like you have to Scion ulti at someone. Maybe the Gangplank, because he would be the least expecting of it. With a Sejuani, with an Azir, or with Blinky there, and try and kill the side lane. And then rush a Baron or something like that.
And they tried. They tried topside as well. They tried to get onto Triple, but it just was not there.
True.
The opportunity did not connect. Triple just kind of sidestepped into the jungle. Of course, Pabu can't go through the wall, so if it doesn't commit to him into the lane, then won't be able to track him. But Direwolves, absolutely looking like they really, really want the undefeated
and here we go.
season
They're going for it. So they're in behind Chippies. They get the knock up there. They will go over. He flashes, but they push him back over the wall. Chippies uses the ultimate. He's got the Sterix there. They're continuing to trying to chase him down. They use a Sejuani ulti as well, and he's just so damn quick. Jake misses a hook. He goes fishing, gets no one. Cupcake shields up, and this is a genuine 4v5 with the strongest member of the Wolfpack not here, and they absolutely destroy Avant Gaming. That'll be game. That's a pentakill for King, and Dyer will say, I want the top spot.
4v5. Chippies lives for so long, and King gets our 3rd pentakill of the day. Direwolves completely demolish AV. And this is going to be the undefeated regular season.
This is the undefeated split. This is the Direwolves making 2 changes and coming back and saying, we are still top dogs. This is them saying, order, Chiefs, we don't care. Come at us. 10-0, the perfect split is complete.
This is the Direwolves saying they're the scariest team, Jake.
Mate,
that's what they're saying.
They are bloody petrifying.
Damn, that was a smacking. Game 1, very close, 58 minutes. AV, a 50-50 smite away from potentially winning that game. Game 2 looked anything but. Direwolves finished the game with about a 15,000 gold lead. King pentakills in a 4v5.
I know
Disgusting.
I reserve the term shellacking for games that end under 25 minutes, but I feel if you get 4v5 pentakilled, while the Rise that has 800 AP isn't in the fight, you have been shellacked.
I didn't know you did that. I didn't know it was reserved for
it was a speed
25-minute. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that, my friends, is just shellacking. That was almost too graphic to air. Like, there was a mature warning filter on Twitch for that game. That was absolutely bloody gross.
That was rough. That was absolutely rough, and that was just all members of Direwolves as well. It's not like one singular person kind of pulled them over the line there. That was just across the board.
And that's
stepping
the thing
up.
about Direwolves. When you look at the Chiefs, you say, we can attack Swiper. He's a very good team fighter. He has died too much in lane. You say Babip, you know, potentially hasn't got the experience to go to finals. You can look at things like that. He doesn't play tanks as well as he plays the carriers. Noticeable weaknesses in his game. When I look at Direwolves, I honestly am not seeing the weaknesses that teams keep telling me about. They are a very good all-round lineup.
And it's the most interesting thing is that they're not doing anything special. Chippies has just picked gang, like team after team is just like, hey Chippies, you want Gangplank? And he's like, yeah man, like, all right, it got nerfed, who cares? Like he's just got to pick it up, play it into whatever matchup.
And I'm not flaming. I remember there was a coach interview. I can't remember who the coach was. It doesn't matter because I know all coaches do this. They're like, yeah, I feel like we came into the match and we knew exactly what Direwolves were going to pick. And I'm like, no shit. Like, they literally pick it every single game, and they have not lost yet. Like, congratulations. They've played Gangplank for the 7th time this season, and they're 100% win rate on Gangplank. Like, it's just so strange. Like, this team is so good.
And that's why it's hard to attack, because there's just not, as you mentioned, there's not that one weakness. There's not like a hole or anything like that. They're just such a sturdy ship.
They are. And they've done it with 2 brand new players, the same support staff around them. Really got to congratulate Nathan Sharp as well as Dave Harris, because that is a 10-0 season, and that is very impressive. And to hear more from one of the Direwolves members, let's throw it over to Laura Choo Choos and Cupcake.
Thank you very much, guys. Yes, Choo Choo's and I are joined by Cupcake. Congratulations on the win and congratulations on the 10-0 split. That is an incredible achievement.
You guys are undefeated.
Yeah.
Yeah, undefeated.
That series, well, especially the first game, had us all on the edge of our seats. I mean, what were you expecting coming into this game, and did you think the games would go the way they did?
Well, we definitely didn't expect that first game. That was a nail biter. We had to work very hard, but in the end, we kept our cool. You know, we played to our win conditions. We didn't take too many risks or anything like that. So I'm happy, but they put up a really good performance.
When you are in like those high pressure situations, how do you keep your cool and your focus and keep yourself together?
So I think it's mostly about just staying focused on what you want to do next, not getting, tied up in if you're winning or losing or little things like that. Just keeping up the comms, what you want to do and how you're going to do it, and take the opportunities when they come.
Yeah, because I don't think like there's rarely games like that on the OPL, but that's probably one of the first times that that Direwolves have seen like a very arduous, long, lengthy game that you guys have pushed to your limits. I think it was impressive to see how you guys adapted, especially to something like the Scion mid, which I don't think any team has really hopped onto, but it seems AV did prepare that one today.
Definitely. No, props to their preparement. They were very prepared. They had a plan. They executed it very well as well. We haven't played much against our mid. We didn't really know the matchups too much, but yeah, they pulled out a good pick there.
I'm curious to hear what did Triple think of Scion mid when he blind picked Syndra and then realized it's Scion.
No, we were confident in that matchup. Again, we don't have much experience against Scion mid, but no, he held his own well. I think.
Yeah,
I think he was fine.
He did. Yeah.
Yeah, especially considering you thought that Scion actually wins that matchup, Choo Choo's.
Not win, but like can
does well.
Yeah, yeah. I don't want to put pressure on Frey to he should solo kill the Syndra, but yeah, he did his job.
He had good shove, good lane priority.
Yeah,
so
that's essentially what BDD does with it, and I think that's the what you try to do. But I think Triple did a really good job of kept pushing the wave. He didn't really look at harassing the Sign, but more prioritized pushing the wave, which is why I don't think he was able to roam too much.
Yeah, it's hard to fight him and all in him, 100-0 him, so you got to resort to the farm wars sometimes. So.
Yeah.
Well, Cupcake, as we said before, you've gone 10-0 in this split. How does it feel for you joining a brand new team and being able to come out with this result?
So we are 10-0, but we've had a lot of, we don't finish first necessarily. Depends on tomorrow's games. So we're not overly confident or happy about finishing 10-0. We just got to, stick to the game plan, Yeah.
Were there any walls that you thought you or the team would hit that would stop you from having such a good season or getting to a high place ahead of the gauntlet?
Our walls would always be ourselves, and if we can just keep progressing day to day, week to week, then we're our biggest opponents at the end of the day, we feel. So as long as, we keep our progress and our structure sorted, then I'm happy.
Well, you did come out with a win today, so congratulations. But before you do go away, we have a final question that has come through for us to answer. And since you're here, Cupcake, I think it would be great to get your answer on this as well, not just Choo Choo's. Our final question comes from Luke, who says, are there any of the upcoming reworks that you're excited for?
I think the Irelia rework is a long time coming. I'm excited to see how that fits into the meta. So I'd say Aurelia.
I completely agree. I don't like Aurelia at the moment.
What about Aatrox?
Is Aatrox?
I haven't
He's on the
read
list.
up that rework at all. I have no idea.
Yeah, that's cool.
Sure.
Why not? Aurelia though. Aurelia is pretty cool.
And the video was pretty cool, the teaser they released. Have you seen it?
No.
Nope.
No? Oh, okay. Well, we have to go see it. Congratulations once again, Cupcake, and thank you for joining us. And also a big shout out to Choo Choo's for joining us on the couch. It's always great to have your insights. But to close out the first day of the weekend, let's hand it back over to Jake and Bryce.
Thank you so much. Always good to hear from the Dials. Cupcake still very grounded.
Yeah.
In the fact that they went 10-0. I mean, that's nearly the trust the process coming out of the support of the Direwolves.
I mean, it literally is trust the process. He said that they are their own worst enemy. If they're going to lose, it's on the back of their own fault, things like that. But I mean, Like, I'd be stoked for a 10-0 season.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's impressive. We haven't seen that before. Literally, OPL first, regular season, 10-0. That's insane.
Yeah, this is a guy playing his third split and already emerging as an elite support player, just finishing 10-0. He should be absolutely wrapped with how his team is playing. However, as we bring up the results of the day's play, was Legacy Esports completing the 2-0, securing themselves 4th seed and denying the Bombers from that promising run home. The Direwolves then went in and took care of business. They picked up all 3 points. They said to the Chiefs, if you want the top spot back, you have to 2-0 order tomorrow at 2 p.m. And that is exactly what the boys in blue will want to do. Do not miss that one before Tectonic versus Sin rounds out the OPL regular season.
Destiny is in their own hands, so Chiefs, they can...
And in their support position.
And in their support position. That one too. Nice, mate. I feel like that was the second time we made that
I've just
joke,
done it so many times and I still love it every single time. However, guys, that is the OPL action we have for you today. Don't miss tomorrow's games. They kick off at 2 p.m. and they still have playoff implications. However, on behalf of myself, Egypt, Laura, Choo Choos, our entire production crew, and of course, Hungry Jacks, we'll catch you tomorrow for some more OPL action. Do they blow him up? No. In goes Cupcake. Battle down ground. Entrance is there. Gets hooked up, but dashes back away. Sure, now on the back end of it should fall down. And they're able to get King. That is a Feather Storm, but he's on top of the tank and will get blown up. Frey going to be able to nail Chippies into a wall. However, Flash is still there. Hits the blast plan. Very nicely done. Chippies trying to turn this one around. Nearly does, to be honest. Frey, get out of the cannon barrage. Otherwise, you're dead. 1-for-1 trade for Chippies. In behind Chippies. They get the knock up there. They will go over. He flashes, but they push him back over the wall. Chippies uses the ultimate. He's got the Sterix there. They're continuing to trying to chase him down. They use a Sejuani ulti as well, and he's just so damn quick. Jake misses a hook. He goes fishing, gets no one. Cupcake shields up, and this is a genuine 4v5 with the strongest member of the Wolfpack not here, and they absolutely destroy Avant Gaming. That'll be game. That's a pentakill for King, and Dire will say, I want the top spot. This is the undefeated split. This is the Dire Wolves making 2 changes and coming back and saying, we are still top dogs. This is them saying, order, Chiefs, we don't care. Come at us. 10-0, the perfect split is complete.